And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com, www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download, go to the website, get the app. Go to the app. They will bring it to your front door pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop, or head down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up Wednesday through Sunday. They will be closed until the 2nd, Wednesday through Sunday. Lunch and dinner, and they will get you that always galactic goodness. It's out of this world, right, Aaron?
That's what they say.
You haven't stopped by when you've rolled through town. You haven't been in like this part of town in a long time.
You're not wrong. It's funny because when I do drive by, it's like a weird time where I'm like, well, it's like 8:30. I don't know if I'm going to stop in on my way home and either like scarf the food as fast as I can trying to get home on that 2.5 hour drive, or if I want to eat in the car, which that's not an easy eat in the car meal.
The tendings aren't too bad. Like you can.
I've done it. Look, I've done it.
Yeah,
but it's not.
They're huge. I mean, they're not.
And the grease and the dipping, it's not ideal. Not ideal.
Well, there's not really any grease.
I mean, just it comes out of a fryer.
General fried chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hot.
I'm just saying it doesn't hold, like it's not greasy.
No, it's not like Cane's where it's greasy until the last bite, even when it's cold.
Right. And you're doing like
it's different with that where you never have.
But they're big
napkins.
And you're trying to dip this big thing in the little cup.
Correct. Not ideal. And
then you got sauce everywhere when you get to where you're going.
And you're not mad about it because it smells delicious even after.
You're like a cat cleaning up the sauce off your shirt.
I need to get down there.
Oh, boy. Hey, look, we've taken a couple days off. We gave you an extra long one tonight, brother. Let's first get to the bowl season is well in swing. The Big 12 is 4-1, and I think it got called back as you were hitting start. Kansas State ran a punt back for a touchdown, but the next time I looked over, I saw a guy doing this.
Whoopsie.
Or this or something. I don't know. There was an official signaling something. But 4-1. Let's discuss Aaron, and then we got something else we'll get to at the end.
Can we discuss the Pop-Tarts Bowl? Can we discuss the Pop-Tarts Bowl being the coolest bowl in the history of bowl games?
Did you see the Pop-Tarts smack the referee on the ass?
I did. The Pop-Tart coming out of a toaster to launch the game off. Like,
did you see the video they did about the making of the trophy? And they did it like
the best trophy ever.
Did you see it? Like, so they did it like Pimp My Ride, but they called it Pimp My Trophy. And they had this guy like doing all the we built in the thing and we did this, and they're creating it. And then in the end, he calls Exhibit and he's like, "Hey, Exhibit, we did this." And Exhibit's like, "I'm going to sue you. I'm taking you to court. Like you stole my show and I'm going to sue your ass." It was so funny. Like you have to go look for it from, I think it's like a week ago when they released the trailer for the Pop-Tart Bowl. It was great. But yeah, they are dominating how you do a bowl game.
Yes. And the fact that the mascot is edible.
And it's fun, it's interactive, it's everywhere on social media. Like this thing is getting more attention than any other bowl other than
the Duke's Mayo Bowl,
and that's only because they dumped a tub of mayo on the winning coach,
which is disgusting. It's still foul.
Gross. Like I would want to fight someone.
This is at least not that. Not
right.
Gross. It's Pop-Tarts. Who doesn't love Pop-Tarts?
It's fun. What's your favorite?
Ooh, I'm gonna go probably the s'mores. I think it's s'mores.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm not a big marshmallow guy.
With the cinnamon being probably number 2.
Brown sugar cinnamon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one my grandma always had, so that's the one I grew up on. Which is very good. And then the other one is strawberry, just OG. Strawberry is delicious. You've never had a strawberry pop tart where you're like, I just wasn't in the mood for that. The dogs are fighting outside. So
I can hear the baby, and I have noise canceling headphones on. So
yeah, I heard the baby laugh at my Pop Tart joke.
That's about accurate. I've gotten a video since we started recording that she apparently said the word turtle. So anyway,
yeah. Let's get started. I almost just skipped over it. I guess maybe it's because UC didn't play Texas Tech this year, so seeing their logo doesn't click in my brain yet.
Yeah.
But Texas Tech opened Big 12 bowl play. They beat California handily, 34-14.
They did do that. Not a whole lot to talk about here. Baron Morton was the guy. 27 of 43, 256, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Taj Brooks did what he does. 22 carries, 98 yards and a touchdown. They win easily.
The next game, you hate to see it. Georgia Tech 30, Central Florida 17. They got up a little bit early, and then Georgia Tech just dominated most of that game.
John Rice Plumlee got injured in that game, I believe, towards the end.
How many times have we said that in 2 years?
Yeah. Timmy McClain came in.
Timmy!
I think he did throw a touchdown, and it got called back, if I'm not mistaken. But he wasn't able to do a ton in the limited amount of time he had. 1 of 4 for 57. John Rice Plumlee, not much better, 16 of 29, 198, 2 touchdowns. But it was RJ Harvey, 15 carries, 120 yards. I don't know. He did fumble away. RJ Harvey fumbled the ball away to Georgia Tech, but Georgia Tech, they just grinded out an ugly win. None of it wasn't a fun game to watch.
No, I mean, it's, the ball's not popping when you get Georgia Tech in Central Florida.
No.
Then we had Kansas 49-36 over UNLV. Good for Jason Bean. 449, 6 touchdowns. And Devin Neal, who, as Dave and I talked about last night, is coming back to Kansas. 20 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown. I liked watching that Kansas team, man.
Good for Jason Bean to finish out his collegiate career on a super high note.
Yeah.
He was one of the better stories out of the Big 12 this season as he emerged as Kansas' starting quarterback. About what?
Waited his turn, didn't jump into the portal, was a guy that was loyal and then had it pay off and had one of the best seasons in Kansas football history. It's fun to watch. Their offense is fun to watch. They're fun. They're fun. Sound like a nerd. Texas A&M 23, Oklahoma State 31. The Cowboys shock Texas A&M. If you listen to SEC fans in the Texas Bowl, that was Oklahoma State was up 24-6 at halftime. Texas A&M made a little bit of a comeback in the second half, but Oklahoma State holds on. Alan Bowman with 402 yards passing. Ollie Gordon, 118 yards rushing. Good for
who wasn't shocked? You know who wasn't shocked?
Who?
Vegas. Vegas was not shocked. Oklahoma State was 4.5-point favorites to win this game. Vegas was not shocked.
And everybody was fading. It sounded like, A&M had all the Jimbo leaving and whatever, but I don't think anybody ever really bought into Oklahoma State, and they got a lot better as the season went on.
I don't think anybody outside the SEC ever bought into Texas A&M, which is why you don't see Jimbo there anymore.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different ball of wax. And then West Virginia, Neil Brown goes from last place, and will he make it past September?
To covered in mayonnaise.
To covered in mayonnaise, yeah. But 30-10, a game West Virginia pretty much dominated from start to finish. Good for Neil Brown.
Look, I don't like Garrett Green after the Heisman show he put on the Bearcats, but Garrett Green goes 12-24, 228, a touchdown, another 9 carries for 64 yards. That guy got the job done. Well done to West Virginia. I was high on him all season long, as you well know. But yeah, the Mountaineers were able to clean things up from where we thought they were going to be. Not really sure if you are still with me or not, but seems you're there.
Something to me. I don't know where that came from, but
I finished up talking on the West Virginia and North Carolina, 30-10, your final score.
And then right now, Kansas State 21-19 over NC State. Kansas in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Kansas State got up early. NC State is slowly, like, this has been like a slow bleed comeback. This hasn't been like bang, bang, all of a sudden you're back in the game. This was like 21-7, 21-10, 21-13. It's been a slow burn. But yeah, that one's got about 5 minutes left as we're recording. So something you sent me today, I don't know if you have this pulled up.
We also have Arizona against Oklahoma tonight in the Valero Alamo Bowl.
In the late AF Bowl.
There is that. So something I sent you today.
I'll turn it over to you, since this is something that, you know, has been right up your alley. You were excited to talk about it. I have thoughts. So let's discuss.
I saw this. It was 1.1 million people have viewed it. It was going around on Twitter, showed up in my For You timeline today. The greatest college football realignment, 180 teams. No conferences. Teams are instead realigned by region. This comes at me, by the way, by @Seminole Jared 23. Just a dude on Twitter. No conferences. The West, the Central, the Midwest, South, and East would be the regions. So you'd still have some regional play, which, honestly, God, I think this would keep everyone entertained. But 36 teams per region, each region broken up into 3 different tiers. Your first tier being the East. So you have teams in Tier 1 like Clemson, Penn State, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Virginia, West Virginia, Coastal Carolina sneaking in there.
Over Maryland and Sarah. Come on.
I'm sorry, that was in NC State, not Syracuse. Syracuse falling in the second tier, along with Rutgers, App State, ECU, Maryland, Navy, UConn.
Maryland and Syracuse aren't great. BC aren't great, but they belong in a much higher tier than App State, ECU, and Marshall. Even though
probably, yeah. I don't know that you can throw Coastal up there. However, what you would see though is the top 2 teams from Tier 2 and Tier 3 would get promoted every year, and the bottom 2 teams from Tier 1 and Tier 2 would get relegated to the next tier lower.
And you do this with every tier.
Yes, but I think that would be fun. So moving to the Midwest, you see Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Iowa, Kentucky, Iowa State, Purdue, Minnesota, Cincinnati, and Louisville. Surprise somebody that's not from Cincinnati specifically, put Cincinnati in over like an Illinois or an Indiana. But Cincinnati getting some love.
They have made the playoff in the past 5 years. Like
they have. Just nice to see them getting some love.
Yeah. Most of the MAC in the second tier. How about slapping Miami in the face with third tier?
There is that. I don't know that I'd put them in over. I don't know that I put Central Michigan over Miami, especially after this season. I don't think you could. But
Kent State, like, give me Miami over Kent State,
Bowling Green,
Eastern Michigan, or Bowling Green, right? Don't tell Taryn I said that.
That's fine. He played basketball for them, not football.
Yeah, correct. I like it. I like it. Give me, like, think of how many games you could go to if that was the schedule.
Right. They'd all be within driving distance.
Minnesota's kind of a pain. Iowa State would be kind of a pain. Iowa, Wisconsin, but like Ohio State, Michigan, like.
They didn't have on another of the picture tweets here. I think it's in the thread. They talk about your schedule would be 10 regional games, 8 games from the same tier, 2 games from a different tier, 2 non-regional games, which would be 1 game from the same tier and 1 game from a different tier. So you wouldn't have Alabama trying to float some bullshit. Right. I mean, you still would have them trying to float some bullshit. Yeah, let's be all the way real.
Right. It would still happen.
Like, oh, well, we're playing this team on a it's no home advantage. It's only an hour from us, but
yeah. Well, let's see the other 2.
Well, the other 3, I guess.
Was there 5?
Yes. The South, Alabama, Georgia, Florida State, Tennessee, Florida, Auburn, Miami, Ole Miss, Mississippi.
It's a visual show. We can talk about
it. It is that. I don't see a ton off there.
No, that looks about right if those are the teams.
That's a strong region.
Yeah.
Memphis still getting left out.
Memphis getting left out over Vandy is a little bit of a slap in the face. Not that it's wrong, but it's definitely a slap in the face.
It's so funny. Then you got in the Central, Texas, Oklahoma, LSU, A&M, Tech.
That would be a fun region. It's like the Big 12. But
Nebraska fans would be so mad early on when they get relegated.
Houston, tier 2.
What have you done for me lately?
That's what they are. But
right there with all the other American teams.
Right. Final one.
The West being USC, Oregon, UCLA, Utah.
Wazoo left out, Oregon State in.
Boise State, San Diego State left out.
Yeah. UNLV. But that might be the best of the tier 2s.
Unless you're looking for some action.
I'm not. I thought about it, and I wasn't looking for that.
I don't know. I think this would certainly make things interesting, though. Like, I think that's how you keep people interested. I don't think that shrinking this whole thing down to where only 32 teams are playing for, or 60 teams are playing for your national championship every year is going to keep a regular fan interested. This would certainly keep people interested.
Yeah, because there's opportunity to move up. There's opportunity to slide down. Like, you gotta, I like relegation. I don't know how it would work on if you tried to lump it all into one, but doing something like that, I don't hate it.
Can you imagine how mad Ohio State boosters would be if they got shipped down to tier 2? If they had a horrible season?
Like, something bad happened or whatever, and oof. Yikes.
But I don't know. You wouldn't have any you shouldn't have any empty stadiums if they're all within
You wouldn't
driving
think.
distance like that. But
I
don't know. Tomorrow night, last out of conference
I was
game.
pulling that up. Yeah. Making sure there was nothing new. Wes said on his radio show tonight, CMOS has been back at practice the past few days. Aziz is still out with hasn't been on the floor with the back issue still, and that CJ Frederick may have re-aggravated his hamstring against Stetson. That would make it sound like we will probably see CMOS tomorrow. We will probably not see Aziz and CJ if they weren't practicing today. So the beat goes on.
One last chance to see these Bearcats in action before
last chance.
Before it gets really crazy.
Yeah.
Really crazy.
Yep. All right. That's gonna wrap it up. We will we'll see you next time. Tomorrow night. We'll be here after the game. Probably go live at least for a little bit. Talking about whatever happens between UC and Evansville. That's the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!